Hi, it's Tony from CassetteCombat.com, and today we're going to be making a video about things that I'm not bothered about making a video about, but I'm going to do it all the same. And what I'm talking about here is crap tapes. Now, there's two sort of generations of crap tapes. There's the old crap tapes, and then there's the modern crap tapes. So what am I going on about crap tapes? Well, there's usually some pretty good signs. If they came in a plastic bag with no J-cards, no cases and paper labels, chances are they're a crap tape. Also, they came in, just have a look at the tapes themselves and you'll be able to see. Now, a lot of them were around usually in the late 70s all the way through. And this is like an example of one. I mean, I know a lot of you guys in America will be saying, Sertrons and lasers and stuff. I haven't got any of them to show, but the signs are all the same. Firstly, the cases that they come in are usually black and silver. They're not all clear. There's black and clear, I should say, not black and silver. And usually the made in Hong Kong is written there somewhere. This one, Minuten Spielzeit, means this was probably for the German market, but that's just the first sort of giveaway. And they'll always say something like hi-fi, low noise, or mega super fantastic explosive brilliant sound, something rubbish like that. And usually if they're old enough, they've got the compact cassette logo on. Now, the tapes themselves, if I take this one out, a lot of you will look at this and say, I've got a tape that looks like this, but it's a different make. Yeah, because most of these were churned out the same factories in Hong Kong, and they just had different stickers and different J cards, but essentially they were pretty much all the same. I mean, to be fair, this particular one, this ain't a bad shell. This ain't a bad shell. It's a screwed shell. It's fairly sturdy. However, the tape is a different matter. But as it goes, I sort of call these Type 0 because I don't think they're as good as the Type 1. They're not really usable. You can get something for less than £1, which will sound better than this. Now, you see, today, I've actually got the Bic handy. I've had a bit of forethought, so let's just wind this on and have a look at some of the tape in this. Now, the tape in this one, to be fair, if you look, is fairly smooth and fairly calendared. This is sort of about as good as these ones get, but you've got to think at this age now the slip sheet might be a bit squeaky. To be fair, it seems to be moving pretty smoothly, the old tape in this, if I could wind it the right way, but yeah, it seems to be moving pretty smoothly. As far as Type 0 tapes go, this is about as good as they get. This might be actually almost usable. But then Type 0 didn't stop there with this type. Take these ones. Now, I remember using a lot of Contact when I was young. My dad bought them. Now, why did my dad buy Contact cassettes? Because my dad was not a techie, and they're all the same, and he bought cheap. Now, these ones, they actually say they're made in error. I don't know if there was actually any tape made in error or if they were assembled in error, because a lot of the time, made means put together. And a lot of the time, I mean, for example, Swiss watches. To put Swiss made on something, you basically need to add 50% of the value of the movement, and it must be assembled and inspected in Switzerland, which means basically everything's shipped from the Far East. They put a mainspring in the movement because without the mainspring, the movement's worth nothing. So you're adding at least 50% value by putting a mainspring in and making the movement actually work. Case it in Switzerland, screw it all together. Some guy go, yeah, das is good, and that's it. It's a Swiss watch. So how much of this is made in Ireland, I don't know. But if we look at it again, this one, paper label, cheap shell. But let's look at the tape in this one. Now, this blue leader, that's my first warning sign. The old blue leader. So let's have a look what this tape actually looks like. Ooh, now, do you know when we talk about sandpaper tapes? There we go. This tape is really not shiny at all, not well calendared. it's quite dull. This basically is sandpaper. And I don't know whether these ever sounded good or whether they'll sound good now, but all I know is that you really shouldn't be putting tape of this quality into your tape deck. So that's some old Type Zeros, but are there any modern Type Zeros? Well, yes, there are actually. Now, my friend Alan has sent me this tape, which some people think is amazing and some people think is don't. This is On tape from Walmart in the USA. Now, we have a subsidiary of Walmart here in the UK called Asda. I've never seen these for sale in Asda, but this is the On Walmart tape. So let's have a look at it. So the shell is what it is. It's not terrible, to be fair. Part of the course, I actually like the red hubs in this. The red hubs are nice. But let's have a look at the actual tape. Now, this tape, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look, there looks like there's little blobs in it. Look around this part here, where I put the light over it. Can you see it's dimpled? Little blobs, dimpled. That is not going to do your heads very much use. So, no, I don't think, at least I'm going to be using these, but they could be filling them with anything nowadays. That's a problem. You don't know what they're putting in. This tape might be terrible, another one might be great. Now, we see lots on Alibaba and AliExpress for sale, Chinese tapes, and here's some which I picked up in the UK, which are a local pound store is selling at £2 for £1. Hot! House of Technology. Yeah. Clear sound. 2 tapes, 60 minutes per tape. Let's have a look at these and let's see if these are hot tapes and well worth £1 each. Bearing in mind, for less than £1, even on my website, I can sell you branded TDK Sony for that kind of money. So £1 each these are. Let's have a look at these tapes. Now, that's quite attractive really, isn't it? The case is all right. Cassette's quite striking. The J card seems all right. Let's have a look at the tape. Now let's just tighten this up. Now this tape pack already, I don't know if you can see it. It's not too uneven, but it is uneven. Let's have a look at the tape itself. Again, this tape is shiny. It's not as bad as the bad Type Zero, but I don't know if you can tell. Let's have a see if I can focus it a bit better. But sort of reminds me of the NAC Ferromaster, this actually. Because if you look at it, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like, you can see dark lines on the actual tape itself. Okay, so here's a poor sod that's going to have to endure these lovely Type Zeros today, my discreet 3-head NAC DR10. Don't worry, tapes that wear heads, especially in decks of this calibre, no, it takes a lot of wear and a lot of use to damage the heads, really, unless you've got a tape that's chemically imbalanced over years of bad storage and has just turned into acid or something, but none of these are going to damage this deck, so I'm going to keep it all at a level playing field. I'm going to keep the record level there, the bias is going to be in the middle, they're all Type 1, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a source through it and we're going to compare the source and the actual tape. So let's start off at the low end with the Context sandpaper tape. Let's see how bad tapes really can sound. So let's fast forward it, see how noisy it is. Sounds okay. Let's get some recording. Hear this hiss. Dropout City. Bit hot for it, I think. Okay, let's compare it to the source. Okay, naturally there's no highs. Let's put full negative bias. See if we can get some high out of this. Compare it again to the source. The levels aren't down as much as I would have thought, to be honest, but yeah. So yeah, quite as expected. Lots of dropouts. Doesn't make a very good copy. I mean, I'm surprised it recorded anything with tape like that in it, but it is what it is. Bye. Right, next one. Let's try Das Sound. Now, this had shinier tape. Let's see if this is going to be any better whatsoever. I'll leave it as the same as the content. Let's set the bias to the middle again. Let's keep it even. Put the level back where it was. Is this noisy? Yeah, that's not over quiet. But let's have a see what this sounds like. Lots of hiss. It's peaking at 3. It's a bit high. That's a bit much to ask. Yeah. This has lost the side. There's a side of this very down. Yeah, this is faulty, this tape. Who knows? Maybe the contents is shed all over the heads. Oh no, that's enough for me. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. The tape doesn't actually look like it's damaged, but nah. Do we keep? Bye. Right, okay, let's now move on to something more modern. Let's go to the on tape with the bumps in it. Extra bumpy to buff those tape heads. I'm going to put the bias back to 0. I'm going to turn the level down a bit because I don't expect these to be able to handle anything. Sounds smooth enough. Right, see how this one sounds. Lots of dropouts. Let's turn this down some more. Yeah, Dropout City. Let's see if we can get some treble in there. That's the source. Ugh! Brand new tape. That is terrible. Dropout City. And speaking of drops, that one goes. So, let's now try the modern Chinese. Like I say, this is House of Technology, but pretty much any of the tapes you're going to buy on Alibaba or AliExpress are going to be like this. So let's have a see how this one compares. Quite enough fast forwarding. Plenty of hiss. You can already hear dropouts in the hiss. I'm going to turn the bias down, but let's have a listen. The source. Well, it's about 3 dB down. This is a lot down on level compared to the others. Let's turn this up. Give it some negative. Doesn't seem to make any difference. Positive. Yeah, another high quality tape. Yes, it's brand new, boys. It's cheap. Go and buy it. Not. And just as a little frame of reference, I'm going to put this in. This is an old, used TDKFE, and the TDKFE is probably the most common cheap cassette in the UK. Regular can be got for less than £1. Let's just see how that compares to these Wunder tapes, just as a reference. Get the hiss. Levels down on the source, but a bit negative. Back to source. Yeah, the source is louder. Yeah, so the source is louder, and basically this one, well, compare the dropouts of these two tapes. You know, really, seriously, these two tapes cost about the same at this day and age. Seriously, which one are you going to buy? And like I say, I know which my money's on. A saying I heard a long time ago, which has served me well over the years, is this: if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck and quacks like a duck, chances are it's a duck. So if it looks cheap, is cheap, chances are it's going to sound cheap. It's as simple as that. Yes, I know we like the idea of, look at this, it's a brand new cassette. This is an attractive looking cassette. I like the yellow, I like the J card. This is an attractive looking cassette. And just think, brand new tape, costs £1. How bad can it be? Well, you've just heard it. That's how bad it can be. The likes of these, I won't deny these have a charm to them. These really do, because, I mean, you know, look at them. It's got a retro charm to it, and I won't lie to you. These type of cassettes, I have some which are Seiko ones, and I'm a big watchman, and I like Seiko. They're not made by Seiko, they're just called Seiko. But what I've done is I've actually swapped the tape, because the shells on these aren't too bad. And I like how they look. I like the kitschness. I like the retro look of them. And if I like them enough, I'll swap the tape. And usually, I'll swap the tape with some TDKFE, because these, like I say, in Britain are probably the most common tapes out there, and you can regularly get them for less than £1. But the tape in these are very decent. The tape in these are worth £1. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, this is an old one, so maybe it didn't sound up to its best, and you can tell that because this has actually got blue here instead of gold, and this is one of the early ones, so this will be probably early to mid-90s. But the thing is, this sounds a lot better than any of these. I mean, this is diabolical. I mean, the biggest retailer in the world selling this. Ush. So what I'm saying is, if you really like the kitsch look of these, collect them. I do like the kitsch look of these. They're very collectible, and I understand the charm, and I understand why people like them. But for God's sake, don't record on them. Please don't record on them. And if you want to, do a tape swap with something like this. Because I'll tell you a little story. Back in the 90s, I was going to a friend's house. He was having a party, and his dad had a lovely Technic stack. And I said I'd do a mixtape. And I did a mixtape on, I think they were called Mel Sonic. There were the three, you know, you used to get 3 of them in a pack. No J cards, nothing. And I actually recorded it on my then 3-head, I think I had a 3-head TIAC in them days. I recorded them a 3-head TIAC, and I recorded it on AD tape, and then I swapped the AD tape into this shell of this Mel Sonic, peeled the label a bit more to make it look even worse, and scrawled on it badly in biro and said, "Here's my mixtape." And I remember him looking at me going, "What?" put it in the deck, and he was stunned by how good it sounded. And I felt bad about a week or so later when he said, look, I got some of them Mel Sonic tapes myself, and I just can't make them sound as good as you did. You know, what did you do wrong? And to this day, I'd never told him. But yeah, crap tapes. Collect them if you think they're nice looking and kitsch, but for God's sake, new or old, don't use them in your decks. You can get so much better, pretty much anything, by a brand you know. TDK, Sony, BASF, Maxell, Fuji, even some stuff like in the UK, BBC and Bush, and apart from the brand new Bush, which is supposed to be rubbish, but basically anything is better than these tapes. And so stop buying them, boys. Just go out and get yourself something that you know. So thank you for watching. Don't forget, we've got that brilliant Facebook group. We're over 560 members here, and I'd like to quote someone that said, it feels like home. So if you love your tapes, do join the group. It's all friendly, and I'm moderating it along with another couple of great guys, George and Graham. So there's no trolling, there's no slagging off. Anyone that, you know, is being a pain gets bounced. So come and join us, have a good chat with us. Until next time, take care, happy taping. Bye-bye.